Good morning, Cjsketokitchen family. This is my third cup of coffee today. Having a hard time getting started. Not sure why. It's been a tough week for us. Some family issues and just other things going on. But it's a Saturday. We know the things that we need to do as far as the channel and doing our weekly recipe video. So we will do the things that we need to do. You know, this water or this coffee looks really clear, like maybe I forgot to put a coffee pod in there. Yep, no coffee pod. Maybe that's a sign that I don't need a third cup of coffee for today. Oh well, I need to get to work.
Hi guys, welcome back to Cjsketokitchen. Tonight we're going to be making a very fast and delicious Asian dish, and it is going to be Keto Korean Beef Bowl, or bulgogi. So come along with me and let's get started. So before we begin tonight's recipe, I just wanted to let you know that our new cookbook, Simply Sweet, is now available if you missed our announcement video. Everything that you need to know about that will be linked in the description box below, and we would love it if you would check it out. So tonight's recipe is a very easy Korean take on beef, and this is a beef bowl. Now, I realize for all of you who are authentically Asian, or people like CJ who have actually been to Korea, this is not exactly authentic because I'm going to be using ground beef, but it is easy, it is cost effective, and it gives more people access to making this type of food, especially in a speedy manner. It has very few ingredients and it's going to come together very quickly. So let's go ahead and get started. So for tonight's meal, you are going to need some kind of skillet or wok. I am using my carbon steel pan that CJ bought me for Christmas. It's the closest thing that I have to a wok. And it's actually a combination of cast iron and steel. And that's what I'm going to be using. So you need to brown 1 pound of ground beef. And as well with most of our recipes, if you don't have access to ground beef, you could use ground pork or ground chicken, whatever you can find. So I have just browned this, and I have my temperature fairly high because we are basically going to be stir frying this as it is an Asian dish. So to our beef, I want 4 cloves of garlic, and this is fresh garlic. And I'm just going to put that into the meat. And we're going to blend that around. Turn it around just a little bit. And you just want to saute this around to get your garlic incorporated. And you can start to smell that fresh garlic cooking. Very delicious. So bulgogi, or Korean beef, is very popular, and it is generally made with sirloin or ribeye, but I decided to go ahead and make it with ground beef just to be cost effective and also make it a little bit more accessible for people. Okay, so we have our garlic incorporated into our beef, and now we are going to make our sauce. Okay, so you need a smallish to medium-sized bowl because we're going to be making our sauce that is going to give that Asian flair that we're looking for in this beef bowl. So the first thing that I want to start with is 1/4 cup of beef stock, and you can use anything that you'd like, any kind that you have access to. I also want the same amount of liquid aminos. I'm using liquid aminos. It is basically like a healthier version of soy sauce. If you can't find this or you don't have access to it, you can definitely just use soy sauce. The difference between the two is that this one is full of amino acids that your body does not make. 13 of them to be exact. So this is going to provide a little bit more of a health benefit if you're going to be using a soy type product. So it's just nice to have, but like I said, if you want to just use plain soy sauce, you absolutely can. But I want about 1/4 cup of this. The next thing that I'm going to add is about a tablespoon of sesame seed oil. And this one is nice and richly brown. If you can try and find one that either says toasted sesame seed or that is a little bit browner. If you find a sesame oil that is mostly clear, it's not generally going to have that intense sesame flavor that we're looking for this dish. I just found mine at Walmart, so you can find it generally in the Asian aisle or the Hispanic aisle with the soy sauces and other types of Asian sauces, and it's not cost prohibitive. But we want 1 tablespoon of this. Okay, the next ingredient that I'm going to be adding is ginger. If you want to use powdered ginger in this step, you can definitely do that. If you would also like to get ginger that is in the form of a root, peel it, slice it, and chop it, you could also absolutely do that. I just prefer to use this style of ginger. It seems that I don't use ginger often enough, so a lot of times if I buy the root, it will go bad in my refrigerator. When it's in this form and it is already compounded for you, I tend to be able to keep it a bit longer, and that is what I prefer. So I'm going to be putting in about a teaspoon or so of this, so about a squirt. Now the last thing that I'm going to be putting in for us personally, because we both enjoy things that are spicy, is a little bit of crushed red pepper. If you don't want to add this, you can definitely leave it out, but it does give your beef bowl that bit of spiciness that you're looking for here that is in most Asian foods. In fact, a lot of times in Asian foods, you'll find things like sriracha or sambal here, which is actually a chili paste that people will put on their dish as they're about to eat it, and CJ and I might use some of this as we're about ready to eat our food. But this is going to mimic some of those flavors, but spread it through our dish very well. So I'm just going to do a couple of shakes of this. Definitely use whatever amount or omit it completely, depending on your likes. So there's our sauce. So I have whisked up our sauce, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to my beef and garlic mixture in my skillet wok. And I'm just going to go ahead and stir it around well, and then I'm going to let it simmer for about 3 to 4 minutes. Let all of the flavors incorporate. It's going to cling to the beef, which is what we're looking for, and that is why it has the sesame seed oil in it. It's not just for flavor, but also for that viscosity that will cling to the meat. You want that to happen because it's going to create that flavor into your beef. So here in the bottom of our bowl, I have some stir-fried riced cauliflower that I have flavored and seasoned with a little bit of the amino acids or soy sauce. And I just stir-fried it in my carbon steel pan, and so it gave it that slight crispiness, as crispy as you can get cauliflower rice. You do not have to serve this over cauliflower rice, that's optional. You could serve it over cabbage if you preferred. That would also be very traditionally Southeast Asian. So I'm going to be serving ours on this rice that I stir-fried. So our Korean beef has...
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Our Korean beef has absorbed all of the sauce that we put on it, which is what we wanted it to do. So I'm going to put some over the cauliflower rice. And I'm going to garnish ours with a couple of items that are very traditional in this style of eating. So the first thing is some chopped green onions, spring onions, scallions. They're called a bunch of different things, but here in the United States we usually call them green onions. And so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of that on top. I'm also going to put some sliced cucumbers on top. Cucumbers are very traditional in Southeast Asian food. A lot of times they're pickled. So this is an English cucumber, that's what I'm using. So the difference, this one still has the plastic on the second half, but the difference between English cucumbers and regular cucumbers are the thinness of the rind. They're a lot longer, and generally you can eat the rind a little bit more easily without stomach upset. So I have not peeled this because it is an English cucumber. So I'm going to put some of that on there. And then the last thing that I am going to top our beef bowl with is a little bit of toasted sesame seeds. So these are just sesame seeds, and I toasted them in a dry pan. And you just have to keep an eye on them. You could, of course, toast them in your oven if you wanted to, but I find it's easier if I just do it in a dry skillet. And that way I can kind of shake them and keep watching it. But I find that toasting them really opens up the flavor of sesame seeds, because sesame seeds can be kind of bland in their raw form. So I'm just going to sprinkle some of those on top. And that just adds a little bit of prettiness and decoration. So there we go. There is our Keto Korean Beef Bowl, ready for eating. And we're going to have CJ taste it for us. Okay, tonight's fabulous meal is Keto Korean Beef Bowl. Hi, CJ.
Hi.
So, I know you have actually been to Korea, and this might not be authentically Korean, but I hope that you're going to enjoy this.
Yes, I've been to Korea. Yes, I've had bulgogi before. I've had it in Korea, and I've also had it. I've had it here too. It's definitely got the flavor. For someone who has had bulgogi, it's a little bit, the texture is different because it's got ground beef. Mm-hmm. But this has got some really good flavor. It was really easy to make.
Yes, that's why I did it this way.
I'm surprised at how far the sauce went as far as flavor in this. Because when you put that in there, I'm thinking, that's not going to.
There wasn't much, yeah.
No way it'd be there. No way will that be enough to flavor all that meat. But actually, it's really flavorful. Cauliflower adds a nice texture. Like I said, it's hard to get cauliflower crispy.
Yeah, you can't get that.
Yeah, you can't.
That crispness that you can get to rice, but.
Yeah, so. I guess I should taste some of the cucumbers.
You could probably make lettuce wraps out of this too if you wanted something, different.
Is there salt on the cucumbers?
Nope.
Actually, the cucumbers actually add another flavored level of flavor to it as well.
Good.
It's something about the freshness of the cucumber.
Yeah.
And then the sesame seeds are a nice touch too.
Good.
So I think people will like it, and it's something different, so might make some people stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's got really good flavor. One of the reasons I know that you made it with ground beef is so it could be accessible to everybody.
Yes.
And not as expensive.
Correct.
So, yeah, I like it. And this is our dinner, so I guess you need to get that camera put down so we can eat.
All right.
Thank you. Good job, baby. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us again tonight, you guys. We hope that you enjoy it as much as we did. It's nice to have easy Asian meals to turn to when you don't want to get takeout. We hope that you will consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. We release new recipes every week, and those go up on Sunday, so definitely hit the bell so you know when that happens. We also have keto conversations on Wednesdays, and that's where we get together and we talk about different ketogenic lifestyle topics. Sometimes we have food unboxings, grocery hauls, what we're eating on this lifestyle, and sometimes we just sit around and discuss keto. So definitely join us. We would love to have you. We are on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and we're also doing a little bit of TikTok, and that is Cjsketokitchen everywhere. If you need any information for this recipe, tips and tricks that I learned while making it, macros, ingredients, anything that you might need, and also CJ's taste test follow-up, that is all on our blog, and that is Cjsketokitchen.com. We hope that you'll come back and see us again next week, and until that time, be well. Bye.